And to get the regular quality measurements, you go to multidimensional voice program. So we're just going to click on that, and then this will open. Now here's the first piece of advice. You'll see all these little open windows down here, and if anything goes wrong, you're thinking, oh, maybe I need to close those windows. Never close those windows. That I don't even understand it myself, but it has something to do with the analyzing all this different stuff. So you don't want to close those windows. So if you get stuck somewhere and it's not working right, close it and reopen it. So this is probably the easiest measurements to take, because literally all you're going to have the patient do is in their normal pitch, you're going to have them hold a sustained ah. Okay. Now the key here is you'll see the signal. Well, I can just show you again. It's F12, and then it looks like this. Ah. Okay. Now what you need to make sure happens is that it scrolls across the whole screen and then wraps around. So I'll demonstrate what that looks like. Okay. So now if you're taking a second sample on this one, for some reason it prompts you to clear the screen, but you don't worry about it. You just hit F12 and then it prompts you. Okay, so if I just hit F12, it says all contents will be removed. Do you want to continue? So we're just going to hit yes, and I'll just let this run for a second until I get ready, and that's fine. Okay, so in my normal pitch, I'm going to go and right there it wrapped around. Now I would need to hit the space bar right away, what I'll do is I'll hold onto the mic and I'll drop the camera to hit the space bar so you can actually see an analysis. So let me do another sustained vowel. So that's what your sample should look like. Now there's a couple things to consider. One is you want the sample that's actually a little bit skinny. It's not too bad, but you really want it to be a little bit fatter, closer to that, so that it takes up a good portion of that little screen. If you get too much in there, you'll see a red, and I'll demonstrate that, and then you have to redo the sample, and I'll show you how you deal with that. But let's just go ahead and what's different about this one is you don't just go up, you don't use that analysis button. What you do is you hit F7, and it's going to play the sample and analyze it. Let me scan out and you'll see what you end up with. So I'm hitting F7. Okay. Oh, and see, it didn't affect my shimmer much, but it did affect my rap. The rap is the measurement of jitter, which is relative average perturbation. That makes sense because I had that kind of wavery pitch, and so it just affected. And this is what I'm talking about right here. So it gives you this graph. So RAP stands for relative average perturbation, and it's a measure of jitter, which is the cycle-to-cycle variation of pitch. And if you hover on there, it'll give you the numbers. Okay, and the norms for the Visi pitch for that measurement is 0.68, and mine was 0.68%, and mine was 0.726%, so slightly out of normal, and it was all because of this kind of mishap here. And then shimmer, remember, is the cycle-to-cycle variation of loudness, and the normal threshold for the Visi pitch is 3.81%, and mine was 1.75, so I was able to hold my loudness fairly steady. And then down here is the noise to harmonic ratio, so that's the ratio of the pure harmonics to the scattered noise, and the threshold is 0.19, and mine was 0.117, so well within normal limits. And we're not going to worry about this voice turbulence index. I haven't really read any great research that shows that it's really highly correlated with any type of dysphonia, so I don't even worry about that one. Now, so that just kind of shows you in graph form what it looks like. And that's kind of nice for the patient. We can tell them, well, if everything's inside the green circle, you're grossly within normal limits relative to a large group of people that have been measured. However, you always want to tell your patient, especially if they're a professional voice user, and the numbers are still within normal, it's fine to tell them that doesn't mean that's normal for you. It doesn't mean it's typical for you. Okay? And the other thing is you can then hit F8, and it gives you the numbers in this form. And you can write them down from there, or you can hover like we did over here and write on them, write your numbers down. The other thing is if we ever get to this point, or if you're working with a patient that you want to compare numbers across sessions and you want more than just a written record of them, you can save it. So you can type in the information and save it. Okay? Now, here's the precautions with this one. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to go too loud, and you're going to see a bunch of red marks in the sample area. And if you get any red lines at all, it will not work. It won't analyze it. We'll just do it, and you can see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to hit F12. And it's going to ask me if I want to erase everything. Yes. Okay, here we go. I stopped it, and you can see all that red. Now, if I try to analyze it, let's see if it gives you an error message. Okay, so signal amplitude out of range. Okay, so when that happens, now if they just had a burst of energy and they can keep it steady, and that's not a problem, you don't have to change anything. But typically, what you need to do is change the sensitivity, and that's the level right there. You can see under the channel 1 there, level. There's a level for channel 1 and a level for channel 2. Of course, we're operating with channel 1. So you would just go in and dial that down, okay, or up. So if it's too low, it looks like this. Now it says you want to execute a macro. I don't know. I'm going to hit no. So if it's too low, your sample will look like this. We'll hit yes to erase and start over. And I turned it down, so this is what too low looks like. So you can see now when you hit the space bar, it looks big again. But when I was actually talking, when I was doing the note, you can see the sample was really small. Okay. So let me do it again just to make sure you know what I'm talking about. The line was really skinny. It didn't take up much of the screen. So if I just show you one more time, just look at the width of the line. So you don't want that small of a width, okay? So if you get that, then you need to turn the level up, okay? And if you get red, you turn it down. So I turn it up, and let's see what it looks like now. So let's just do it one more time so you guys can see what it looks like when it wraps around. Of course, remember, I'm going to drop the camera to stop it. Okay, and I have a nice consistent sample that goes completely across the screen. So again, it's F7. And there's my graph, and you can see it was a better sample. Everything's within normal. If I want to see the actual numbers, I can hit F8, and it gives me that information. Okay? So that's the end of the demonstration.